The next method for solving quadratic equations that I want to go over is called makes use of the square root property. And here's the square root property as it's stated in your book. It says if u squared equals d, then u equals plus or minus square root of d. So in other words, if some number is squared, and it's when you square it is equal to another number, then the number you're squaring, u, has to be equal either to the positive square root of d or the opposite of the square root of the number d. So that's what we're going to use here. And this can be pretty quick to solve equations if you have them in the right form. Checkpoint 8 has two different examples I'll go over. The first one looks like this, and this, when I look at it, appears to be a good candidate for using this method. We have a squared term and we have a number term. There's no x term in the middle. So I think you'll see in a second why it works well to use this property to solve this. So I'm going to put the 21 on the other side in this case. So I'm going to change this to 3x squared. If I add 21 to both sides, I get 3x squared equals 21. Now let's get the x squared all by itself. So we'll divide by 3, and we get x squared equals 7. Now, using this property, we have some number squared equal to another number. That means that this number we're actually trying to solve for, x in this case, is equal to plus or minus the square root of 7. So either by plugging the square root of 7 in to this, or the opposite of the square root of 7, it should solve that equation. This is another case where we can use the square root property. Here we have a quantity squared, but we can treat this just like u. So here u would be not simply x, or a single variable, but this whole chunk, x plus 5. Using this property, this is still a number. When you square it, it's equal to another number. So we can use that and say that this thing that we're squaring, x plus 5, can be equal to the plus or minus the square root of the thing over here, 11. So we get that. We have two cases here. One, of course, when square root of 11 is positive, and the other one when it's negative. So let's split this into two equations. And so one is x plus 5 equals the square root of 11. And the other will be, down here, x plus 5 equals the opposite of square root of 11. And then it's fairly straightforward to solve for x. Just subtract 5 from both sides, and we get x is equal to the square root of 11 minus 5. And another solution would be x equals, again, if you subtract 5 from both sides, you get opposite square root of 11 minus 5. So your two answers should be x is equal to square root of 11 minus 5, or x equals the opposite of square root of 11 minus 5. And it's a good idea when you have time to plug that in and check to make sure that it actually solves the equation.